Alright. So what are we doing?
Well, right now I'm I'm just figuring out how to correctly judge distance to targets and lead them using mil dots and whatnot.
And what scope are you using exactly?
Going to be the long range precision scope, the LRPS. Got
Okay.
4 mil dots on it. 4 mil dots on either side.
Alright, so far what the fuck is a mil dot?
Well, mil dot is the little black dots on the outside of your reticle. The middle crosshairs. That's going to be the distance you can judge distance with them, I guess.
Okay, and so far what's the distance between each mil dot? Does it depend on range?
Yeah, it's all going to depend on range. The distance between every 2 mil dots is going to be 1/1000th of the range that you're scoped in at.
Okay. So what kind of weapon are you using?
M107 Barrett 50 cal.
And that's in a mod.
Yeah, the NATO SOCOM or the NATO Russian SF weapons pack.
Okay, from Massi. Alright.
Yeah.
So explain to me what the benefits of learning to be a sniper, or what a sniper's role in the battlefield is.
Well, it's used to eliminate key targets on the battlefield, provide support for squads that are advancing on key areas or moving into an area of operations.
Okay, you say key targets, like does that mean anybody? What are key targets?
Well, they'd be like the targets that are used to take out, I'd say, like your supports and whatnot. So anti-air, anti-tank, snipers themselves, be soft targets or not soft target shit. It'd be like vehicles that you can take out with a sniper rifle, so their tires and whatnot.
Okay, so basically, uh, just knocking out like heavy weapons, assets
Right.
like that. Okay. So what's the max effective range of your sniper rifle? Like, what's the furthest you've shot?
I've shot about 1,800 meters. Maybe not effectively. I'd say about a kilometer effectively.
Okay. So explain to me what exactly we're going through right this moment. I've got the same scope on my rifle, and I've got it zeroed in at 300. So what do I need to do to make this hit the furthest target out there?
To make it hit the furthest target, you're going to need to know, the size of the target, which the average man in Arma is going to be about 6 feet tall, which equates to about 1.8 meters. And then knowing that your every 2 mil dots is going to be 1,000, 1/1000th of a meter. You want to take that 1.8 meters and multiply it by 1,000. It'll come out to about 1,800. And then you want to divide the number of mils, mil dots that guy is, how tall he is in your mils. Want to divide that by you want to divide that into 1,800, and that'll give you the range out to your guy.
Okay. So I don't need a rangefinder per se.
Yeah, you don't need it. I mean, it's a lot more useful, but this is a way to do it if you're out there by yourself or your spotter went down or something along those lines.
Okay. And so if I shoot and I'm a little bit short, do I and let's say my weapon is completely 100%, I cannot adjust it anymore, which my current rifle goes to 1400 meters and he's at 18 and I shoot low. Is there a different formula that I have to do to adjust that scope?
Uh, Fuck, I don't know about that one.
Like, I mean, do I go up? Do I go down? Do I just say screw that target, go to another one?
You just want to go, take your mil dots and go up with it.
Okay.
So at about 1,400 meters. I, I
Y-
haven't looked into the math of that one yet.
you're good. I mean, something that I learned in the army. is Kentucky windage. You know, if you see the round hit below it, just start aiming up and just gradually go up
Yeah.
until. The good thing about Arma is, as you can see, if you shoot a couple rounds at one of the targets, they're going to hit the ground. They don't really like getting shot at that much. So, um, so let's go back to key targets and key. Let's say I'm looking at this field right now and I see a whole lot of guys that look the same, wear the same helmet, wear the same uniform, and let's say they all have the same weapon, which none of them out there do at the moment. How would I pick a key target out of them? Would I pick, the guy who is walking at the head of the formation, the end of the formation, the middle? Like, how do you pick your targets as a sniper?
Well, I pick the guy that looks like he's going to do the most damage to me or my squad that's approaching them. So, I mean, if you've got a squad in contact, you want to take the first unit and then go back, or
Okay.
just anybody that's doing more, that's got them heavily suppressed or is taking a flanking position on the squad down low or is firing upon you or anything like that.
Okay, so what would you say is the biggest factor? Like, how do I know that I'm going to be a good sniper? What are those factors? Is it, all I need is a weapon and a scope and a bullet and that's it?
Now you're going to need, you need the basic grasps of cover and concealment. You need to know, how you're going to maneuver, where you're going to maneuver if you start getting fired upon, firing and moving if you are spotted and things along those natures. Just utilizing cover, because I mean, if you don't utilize cover, then you're just a basic marksman. I mean, if to be a sniper, you need to know where to go when you're fired upon, how to hide, and all that stuff.
Okay, and the basic loadout for a sniper is obviously not what I'm wearing. I'm wearing
Yeah.
heavy vest, backpack, and no real ghillie suit, but normally you want to pack pretty light, right?
Right. Yeah. Usually, you don't want to use a backpack at all if you can avoid it. You want to go as light as you can so you can move from cover to cover as fast as possible. And obviously, you want to use the clothings that fit the situation you're in. So, I mean, if you're in a forested area, you want to wear a ghillie. But if you're in the desert or you're, something like along those lines, then you want to wear some type of desert uniform.
Okay, so blend in. So what are some
Right.
other roles for a sniper instead of just, shooting and supporting in that way? Just, is there any other roles or responsibilities that a sniper could take?
Definitely. Reporting enemy movements for sure. I mean, that's definitely a good factor that comes in when you're trying to support a squad, or if you have, movements, contact, reporting all the enemy positions. Knowing where their artillery is going to be firing from, or their mortars are, or something along those lines.
So basically, you could also say safely that they could be reconnaissance units or
Right.
scouting units, forward observers, even a JTAC if
Yeah, for
needed.
sure.
Okay. What would you say is the number one asset besides a rifle and the clothing that they wear that you would say a sniper would need to survive in Arma?
Well, he would definitely need to use his mind. I mean, he would need some intelligence as far as that goes, especially with the calculations and whatnot, and knowing when to move, where to move, and all that good stuff.
What would you say would be a safe distance? Let's say, or we have some troops out there in close contact, and I mean close contact, like they're between you and, or the enemy's between you and them. Would you take those shots, or would you avoid taking shots that could inflict casualties on your friendly units?
Well, what I would try to do would be, to get around to a flank, so you don't have to fire over the top of your guys, because missing shots will could potentially take down friendlies, and you don't want to do that. So you want to get to the flanks if you can, and just make sure you can fire through without hitting friendlies.
Okay. How would you use? Let's like switch to our map here. How would you use more of the colored map, or would you use the topographical plain white military map?
Well, topographical would definitely come in handy more often, just because it shows you, the elevations of different spots on the map, and things along those lines, the good cover and whatnot. in the forests. You really don't need to know, what the ground looks like. You don't need to know the color of the grass when you're moving as a sniper. You need to know, what hill is going to be the highest, where you do have a good elevation to fire down from, and stuff along those lines.
Okay. Is there any tools or any kind of things you want to give to those up and coming new Arma 3 guys who come from Call of Duty and other first person shooters, Battlefield, Call of Duty, any of those that are snipers there, that they will fail if they do try to do those same tactics here? Is there anything you want to
Oh
say
yeah,
to them?
definitely. I wouldn't, you can't run and gun with the sniper rifle for sure. I mean, you could use a designated marksman's rifle, an M110 or something along those lines, which also comes in the NATO pack. But you're going to use a high caliber weapon that's bolt action or semi-auto even, you always want to find a good spot to lay down or sit down for that matter, and just find a good spot to rest your weapon so you can reset your shots and you're not getting fired upon, having to sit there and empty a mag just to hit one target.
So
Because
you're
running and
telling
gunning
me,
does not work.
sorry about interrupting. So you're telling me I can't 360 no scope?
Definitely not.
Okay.
I mean,
Um, coming from those other games, and I've experienced a lot of them, and so have you. What would you say would probably be the first thing that they need to get through their mind whenever playing this versus playing Call of Duty?
well, cover for sure. I mean, movement to cover and staying, as a sniper, finding a good spot to hide, because you can't just lay out in the middle of a field and and not expect to get shot when you're firing upon an enemy, because you'll get spotted pretty much instantly with the AI in Arma 3 if you're out in the open field.
Yeah, and I know from experience, me sniping versus players, if you're a good enough sniper and you're well hidden, good thing about Arma is they have artillery, and they'll just call artillery into where they think you are, and
Right.
so that's something I know personally that I needed to watch out for. Speaking of that, how would you position yourself in a way of counteracting like artillery or a massive column of foot mobiles or even armored coming to you? How would you fend for that? Because I know you only have a sniper rifle. How would you plan?
Well,
Take me through the process of your planning. Contingency
oh,
plan.
as a sniper, patience is always key. So I mean, if you don't have a shot, you don't take a shot. I mean, if you have to fall back, live to fight another day, then that's always the thing you can do. But like I said earlier, just pick your high priority targets. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to penetrate heavy armor or anything along those lines. But I mean, if you could take out a mortar position, that's firing on you or something along those lines, or if there's an enemy advancement, you can hit the guy with the AT or somebody that's going to easily suppress your position, then move, fire and then move to a different position to where they can't find you easily. And then you can fire again if you need to, or if not, you can always just sit there and watch and see how they react, see where they move to, and just keep doing the same thing.
Okay. So I know in one game that we played on a vanilla server, we were posted up on top of a mountain, and we had another co-sniper probably about a click out, and if you remember that, he really wasn't in a good position. Why do you, if you do remember, why wasn't he in a good position?
Well, he wasn't really in elevated ground. I mean, he had enemies on defilade to his north side. He had enemies in defilade to his east. He had enemies crawling all over him, and he just stayed there. I mean, he never moved once. He just laid down and just kept firing. So I mean, he never tried to maneuver, and I mean that ultimately led to his demise, because you always have to be moving when you're a sniper. I mean, even if it's a small adjustment to one bush to another. I mean, that's always. I mean, the enemy can't find you if they can't see you.
Yeah, and I know that I was calling personally on cast trying to get him as close as possible, and I know you were dropping enemies almost on top of him, trying to support him from a kilometer away, while you know uh, trying to support troops that were a kilometer to his east, and I know it was very difficult. What would you say to that person or a person like him that was in that same situation that might not have been his fault? He just jumped into an area, did the halo jump, and thought this would be a good spot. What would you say to them to get themselves out of that position?
Well, definitely just move cover to cover if you can. Try to find, always plan on where you're going when you're getting fired at. Don't just run out in the field, run out in a field willy-nilly. You want to, always find the next place of cover you're going to, and just stay behind that cover for as long as possible until you can avoid the situation or fight to fend off the enemy advancing on you.
Yeah, and for me to throw something else in there to add on to it is definitely look at your map and coordinate with troops. Um, I know coordination and communication is probably the key thing. I
Oh,
bet you can
sure.
agree with a sniper. I mean, if there's a sniper over on the next hill and you're getting overrun, you definitely don't want to guide the enemy over the defilade where that sniper cannot help you. You want to try to not more or less stay out in the open, but stay in visual check with the other guy so he can support you.
Right.
What would you say a great asset would be to counteract a sniper if you're a sniper? Like, let's say there is a sniper over on the next hill and he's getting ready to target you. How would you defend against another sniper being a sniper?
Yeah, well, I mean, all of these, all of these concepts really just come back and wrap around to each other. You always want to just keep moving, stay in good cover, but be patient with your shot. I mean, if he doesn't have a perfect shot on you, don't just lean out and try to fire at him. You want to, wait until an opportune moment. Patience is always the key. I mean, if he's because you'll have snipers just lay down fire on you, waste a magazine just to keep you suppressed. Which I mean, snipers aren't really meant to suppress targets. Um, I mean, all the time, especially when it's counter sniping or something along those lines. So you really just want to just bide your time, see if you can't either get another unit up there. You know, same thing you were saying was talk another unit up to where that sniper is. Maybe get your spotter to lay down some suppressive fire. You roll to a different position or something along those lines, and set up a good position to fire on them.
Okay, and you lead me right into being a spotter, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'll kind of go over what I normally expect for a spotter to be. I normally take a designated rifle, marksman's rifle. I'm currently using an M14 old. It's also in a NATO pack as well, but MK18 I believe is the weapon. I may be wrong. Is a good one. Just I normally like to have a scope as well, but the thing that I always change it up is I carry a big backpack and I normally have a rifle with an M203 on it. Um, what would you say your ideal you would want your loadout for your spotter to be besides just laser designator, rangefinder, and a couple smoke grenades?
Well, definitely, I would need my spotter to have something a little bit higher caliber than 5.56, so 6.5 and above. Because if you get into a heavy engagement, you're going to need some stopping power with that spotter. The spotter's going to need some stopping power. So I would definitely suggest having a higher caliber weapon. Maybe some white smokes. I wouldn't recommend any other color smokes but white because everything else doesn't look like just it looks man-made. You can definitely spot out blue smoke and know that somebody's throwing that smoke as opposed to white. Um, Maybe some definitely good communication. I mean, I would definitely need that. I mean, I guess it's not part of the loadout, but it's definitely a key to helping a sniper out. And really about it. Maybe some mines or something along those lines, but I wouldn't recommend those either because you can hear mine exploding from a good distance away and pinpoint that area as well.
Yeah, and coming from an armored and aviation background in Arma, it's the hardest time I've ever had getting snipers out of the AO is whenever they set mines everywhere, and I hate it.
Right.
Um, Kind of going a little bit more in depth on a spotter. Is a spotter considered a sniper, or is he just a rifleman that follows you?
Well, I mean, honestly, they're one and the same. I mean, spotter is more of, the brains of the body, and the sniper is just the finger. I mean, they're just the fucking muscle. Um, because most of the time the spotter's doing a lot of the targeting of high value targets. They're gonna call you out, let you know when to fire, what to fire at, and when to move. They're gonna be finding the cover for you if you need to, switch cover and whatnot. Sniper's really just gonna be doing a few calculations if they need to and pulling the trigger. I mean, that's really all the sniper's doing. So, I mean, essentially, you could switch those roles as long as you have a good team. You could switch those roles instantaneously if need be.
Okay. Now, would you want your spotter to have like an LMG or like carry a 50 cal on his back or something?
Well, I mean, you could use an LMG, but I mean, that's not something you want to really do. You need good maneuverability. I mean, at all times with a sniper team, you're going to need maneuverability for sure. I mean, smaller, light is key to a sniper team because you're always going to be moving. I mean, especially if you're in a heavy engagement or needing to engage targets from different areas to support, a squad moving in, you're going to keep moving. So you need to make sure you keep your stamina low so you can keep firing.
Where what would you prefer to come into an AO at? Would you rather bring yourself, have someone take you? If you'd rather have someone take you or go yourself, what mode of transportation would you want to bring you here?
Well, I would like a chopper, but I don't want it to drop. Don't need to be dropped off at the exact point. You don't want to get put in right on top of where you're going to be sniping, because obviously you're going to get eyes on your area. Because I mean, a lot of the AI. Sorry about that misclick. A lot of the AI is going to watch when a chopper comes in. They'll even fire on it with small arms. So you can get inserted about maybe 500 meters to a kilometer behind your point. That's always a good option to walk up to the point yourself instead of being dropped off or haloed in or anything along those lines.
So would you want a like would you want to have a little bird or would you want to have a massive Chinook like helicopter drop you off?
Well, definitely a little bit, man, because I mean, it all comes down to maneuverability and being able to conceal yourself easily. I mean, if you come in with a huge Chinook or something along those lines, you're gonna have everything with eyes on you. You're gonna be watched from the second you touch down. They're gonna know. Well, they're not gonna know exactly where you are, but they're gonna know where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah, and I know vanilla AI. I know some people that are going to be watching are going AI is dumb. But we currently in our mods we use B combat and it's a different beast in itself.
Sure.
Purely. Um, so with the new modules and new things that came out, sniper or people being able to shoot off the side of the little birds in the back of vehicles, would you say that is a nuisance or a hinder or it hinders you being a sniper, or does that give you a whole new asset or platform
I mean,
to
as long as it can be done correctly. I mean, it's not easy to fire from a helicopter by no means, especially not with this M107 I'm using. I mean, this thing. It's pretty difficult to shoot just laying down. So I mean, moving from a moving platform isn't going to be a walk in the park. But I mean, if you can master it, it would definitely be a good weapon to have in your arsenal for sure.
Yeah, I know personally it would take a lot of discipline to kind of keep that helicopter without or steady without using auto hover.
Right.
Very hard. So take us through now what exactly you're going to do, to shoot the target. You've already told us how to go into finding the range. We have the range. We have our target. Is there any special buttons? Because I know whenever I look through my reticle, it starts bouncing up and down. Is there anything that I need to do to stop that? And
Yeah,
things
you're
like
gonna
that?
want to to hold your breath, you want to hold right mouse button, which you never want to hold it for longer than 3 seconds. You want to make sure that you ID the target you want to fire at. You want to put your reticle around his area, maybe on his chest, to his leg, somewhere where you can easily target really quickly. And then you want to hold your right mouse button for, like I said, no longer than 3-4 seconds, because right after that you're going to have to breathe back in, and it's gonna make you unstable. You're going to be swinging all over the place. So you definitely want to hold that right mouse button. If you prefer to, you can hit the numpad addition key, and that'll zoom your reticle in. You'll get like an 18 times or something like that, along those lines, the highest magnification you can on that scope. And I mean, it's a nice thing to do, but I mean, if you do that, it's gonna make your mistakes magnified pretty much. I mean, you're magnifying your view, but you're gonna magnify your mistakes as well. I mean, you can always use page up, page down to change your zero of your scope to easily engage targets from longer distances, because you never want to really move that scope up and down without zeroing in as far as you can. If to the most accurate meter you can, hundredth of a meter, I suppose. But I mean, that's really a lot of it. If you Another mod we use is VTS Weapon Resting. I mean, if you wanted to use that, which is, I mean, it's a really good mod to have for snipers, for sure. I mean, it stables your platform a lot more wherever you're at. I mean, if you're laying down, sitting down, control space bar will just pop that bipod down and you're ready to fire. I mean, it gets everything a lot more stable.
Okay, and something that I forgot to touch on whenever we were doing the Call of Duty part, is there anything that I need to know about shooting at distances? Like if I shoot, you're telling me scope up, scope down. I know on Call of Duty I don't have to really, as long as the center crosshairs or one of those dots are on the person, depending on how far they are, they're gonna die every time. I mean, is there any
Right.
kind of physics or anything like that in this game that?
Oh yeah, there's definitely ballistics to the ammunition. I mean, the different calibers are going to travel different distances, and they're going to drop at different speeds and whatnot. With this 12.7, I think it's 12.7 millimeters, along those lines. But that's going to drop. I mean, I can fire roughly. I can fire a pretty good distance before it drops at 300 meters. But I mean, it's still. I mean, everything drops. This definitely has the Coriolis effect for sure.
Now, whenever you say drops, does that mean like as long as the bullet hits them in the stomach or in the chest or in the back or anywhere like that, it's going to automatically kill them, or does it actually
Uh-huh.
lose damage velocity as well?
Yeah, it's definitely going to lose the velocity of the bullet from greater distances. Higher caliber bullets, tend to lose velocity a lot a lot faster, but they're still going to have that impact. So I mean, shooting a target with this 12.7 is still going to. I mean, if I hit somebody in their chest with it at a kilometer out, I'm still going to get a kill shot, as opposed to using 7.62 and hitting somebody in the chest at a kilometer. You're going to have to hit them quite a few times before it'll drop.
Okay, and what exactly would you say the optimal? I know you touched on it before, but reiterate again what the optimal caliber that you would prefer, both vanilla and downloadable mod pack.
Well, for the spotter, definitely 6.5 and above. And I mean, for the sniper, it's a lot of your personal preference, but with that 7.62, it's gonna, even 308, it's gonna be harder to take a target down in one shot. Once you're using, the links with NATO, or the vanilla pack or the M107, you're gonna get a good one-shot kill on most parts of the body. I mean, legs, sometimes you'll cripple their legs, but I mean, a lot of the times it's gonna be a one-shot kill.
And where do you aim? Let's say, do you normally aim for the head because you always want to get those head shots, but is it viable? Is it a good idea to aim at the head, or where should I be aiming?
I would definitely aim, always at the chest. It's a it's a lot bigger target area to hit. I mean, if you overshoot, you'll be hitting the head. Obviously, if you undershoot, you're going to hit them somewhere in the pelvis area, maybe the legs. I mean, the chest will give you a really good base to start firing at. I mean, it's always a good big target.
Okay. Now shooting through objects, and this is something that I know Arma has a very unique uh, mechanic in. Is it difficult to kill things through objects? Can you even kill things through objects? And what kind of objects are optimal to shoot through?
With the right caliber, I mean, you can penetrate a lot of things. You're always going to have that ricochet effect once you go through. I mean, small buildings, shanty shacks that have mostly plywood or something along those lines to hold them up. I mean, you won't get. I mean, your bullet will still travel pretty straight going through those items or those walls and whatnot. But I mean, you shoot through a brick wall with a high caliber weapon, it's still it'll penetrate, but you'll have some ricocheting going on, or it'll be off target a little bit or something along those lines. But that's only with the high caliber weapon. 7.62, it'll penetrate some things. 5.56 for sure won't. I mean, it doesn't. You don't get much penetration with that. You can shoot through, like I said, a shack, but that's really small plywood type deals. You're not going to be able to hit through bricks or anything along those lines with the smaller calibers. But larger calibers are always going to have that penetrating effect to a certain extent.
Okay. Now, body armor. I know there's body armor in the game, and it does have a damage factor as well as helmets. Do you personally prefer wearing a helmet and body armor, or just take your chances being as
I
light
don't
as
know.
possible?
I always love my body armor and my helmets, which I think we also pull out of that NATO pack by Massi as well. Um, but yeah, I'm always rocking some body armor and and a helmet because I mean you could always use the extra armor on the battlefield. I mean there's no doubt about it because it doesn't always guarantee you live through you know a burst of fire, but it's definitely going to help. I'd rather have it than not for sure.
Okay. Are there any other tips, tricks, or anything like that you kind of have? Because I think we pretty well covered, the
Yeah.
basics and the advanced stuff. And
Well, not really. I mean, always pick your targets, and don't engage unless you need to. I mean, there's when you're a sniper, you're not out there to kill every single target. I mean, I know it's always fun to sit there and watch bodies drop all day long, but I mean, you're not there to kill every single target you see because I mean that's an easy way to get spotted. You want to PID HV, high value targets and drop those, and then I mean, if you need to support your moving elements on the field, and that's really about it.
now, would you recommend a sniper team move with an infantry unit, or would you recommend that they maneuver away from those high visible, high, very noisy um, combat troops?
Well, I mean, obviously you're gonna want to move alone. Just your spotter or your shooter. You want to you want to maneuver away from those high priority target troops because obviously, I mean, they get into contact and you're shooting a rifle that's gonna only be able to really be accurate at over 500-600 yards. You want to be able to be as far away as possible and still get your shots in. I mean, when you're moving with an element, you're more of a marksman. You're doing Overwatch and stuff like that. But as a spotter sniper group, you want to just travel alone and as low profile as possible.
Now, would you recommend like can anybody team up and be a sniper spotter, or does it take some kind of a discipline to accept the role that you're in? So, like if I'm in a spotter position and I'm in your team, but I want to be a sniper, does it help to have someone who understands and fills that role of spotter, even if I'm in the sniper position, or vice versa?
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, like when we always play, I mean, most of the time I'm the shooter just because I mean I'm a pretty good shot, so I mean and you understand that. So I mean it's always good to know your strengths and weaknesses. Good communication. Who's a better communicator, who can do more multitasking would be, definitely a good asset to have as a spotter. And I mean, like I said, the shooter, you're just point and click most of the time. I mean, you're just, you have some calculations to do, but a lot of it's just dropping targets when need be. So, I mean,
What would
you can always switch them out, but it's
what
always
would
good to have.
what would you say is the greatest asset that a sniper has that is not with the sniper or sniper team? Like
Uh,
like supporting elements, things like that. What would you like to have, on standby to come and help you? Uh, Rather that be aviation, armor, infantry, naval assets, stuff like that.
oh, I always like to use close air support. CAS, uh, aviation is a really good tool to have in your arsenal as a sniper. I mean, you can definitely. I mean, if your spotter has a laser guide, you can call out targets to close air support and get them on target relatively easily. Because you're on that overwatch, and not many people you're not getting fired at relentlessly, so you can sit there and take your time, pick out your targets, call them out to your aviation crew, and get good effect on target.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you on that one. Being a more of a JTAC than a spotter, I know we've had several close calls where CAS and aviation, whether that be rotary wing or fixed wing, CAS has really saved us. Now, in some cases, I know that one time in particular, whenever that we were talking about earlier about that sniper that really wasn't doing a very good job. I seem to recall hearing a large explosion and seeing the carcass of a jet come from your position, and sometimes it's bad luck. But I think
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
there's some measure of discipline, knowing exactly where and when to come in as a CAS. Me being an aviator as well, it's kind of hard not to just go from point A to point B and just kill everything in there and take off. Having some discipline, especially knowledge of who's on the ground, is very important, and I covered that in one of my previous videos as well.
Right, and a lot of that falls onto the men on the ground. I mean, as a jet, moving really fast, you're not going to be able to see friendlies on the ground or anything like that. So, as that JTAC or that spotter, whoever's relaying those positions and asking for those strikes, needs to be relayed to them that we got friendlies on the ground. You need to move from north to west, or north to east, or north to south. That is. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to have communication with those guys, especially as the person that's calling that out.
Yeah, and kind of to touch on that a little bit more is a JTAG. I go over it in one of my videos. A JTAG is basically a spotter in a sense. I found in my gameplay that a JTAC spotter sniper team is probably the most effective tool, if not the best tool to have if you're an infantry squad. I know us personally, we've supported countless squads over heavy firefights and got a good majority of them still alive, still playing the game, still not respawning or sitting there on the battlefield taking heavy fire. And I think that's contributed to both the sniper team in itself being that of a team. Um, anyway, I think if you don't have anything else, I think we can wrap this one up.
I think that about covers it, man.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem.